So what we want to do right now is to create a timeout for each player. So in case, so if they don't make a move within that timeout, say 30 seconds, we're gonna force them to forfeit that move. So for example, if this guy right here, right now he can make this move against player 2, right? But let's say he doesn't move in 30 seconds, we're gonna force him to lose that move and move his active token to the next turn, which is against user 3. Right. So if he makes a move right now, we're gonna do that. So his active token becomes user 3, but let's say that he doesn't move anything in 30 seconds. We're gonna do that and not allow him to move. That way, the other player doesn't have to wait forever, right? So as another example, let's say this player over here. This is player 2. So right now he can make a move against user 3, right? Because he has a token to spend, and his active token is in the same place. So his active token is the one that he can spend, right? And if he moves, this one will become active. This token right here will become active. The bright green bar will move up here, and this will become gray, like so, right? So he just spent this token, and now his active token is up here, big, as denoted by the green bar. But let's say he didn't make that move. Let's say he doesn't make any move in 30 seconds. We're going to do that, and just force that scenario. So So when something moves, okay, so when somebody makes a move, what we really want is for the client, for that player to set a timeout and then send the request to the server. So for example, this guy here, he's gonna make this move, and his token against user 1 becomes inactive. So we want to set a timeout for 30 seconds. And if the 30 seconds runs out, the client is going to send a request to the server and say, hey, the timeout, it's time to give me back the move if the other player hasn't already moved, right? So so let's say that this is player 1 right here. In this window is player 1, and in this window is player 2, I think. Yep. Okay, so actually let's make another move, and so that we become into this scenario. So right here. So right now we're about to spend the token for user 2, and as soon as we spend that token, it's gonna pass back over to player 2 over here. Right. See that? The token went from here to here. So what we want to happen right this moment for this player is to set a timeout right here. That says, in 30 seconds, this client is gonna send the request to the server to notify the server to give player 1 back this token if player 2 hasn't already spent it, right? Because player 2 has 30 seconds to spend that token, this one right here. And if he doesn't spend it after 30 seconds, the server, this client is gonna remind the server to grab back this token and return it to this guy. So that's good, but the problem is the way that we're loading the UI right here, right? Because every time somebody makes a move, the server sends the notification to the client, including all the terms, and the UI just refreshes the whole thing. So if we set a timeout, we're gonna have to check if there's anything that changed. So what I'm thinking is, for now, we'll just forget about the UI refreshing and just remember and just do the timeout first. Okay, so when somebody moves, okay, when somebody makes a move, whoop, this guy, it's player 3's turn. So when somebody makes a move, we're gonna, like this, we're gonna set the timeout and for 30 seconds and do it like that. Okay, so game.move, I think it was. Oh, actually it was on message. So right here is where we know that the move has been about confirmed, and so we need to check if the move that was just made was our move, right? So where do we check that? It's data.player. No, yes. Okay. Oh, it's it's data.player, except that we're not using it right now. So cell game pieces. Should we thinking where to put that function? Should we do it in the HUD or have another thing that keeps track of the turns? I think we should do some refactoring. So the HUD is just for rendering the UI and that sort of thing. Right, so render turns. It's gonna be all mixed up in there because later on we'll have like an actual countdown clock. So let's have a separate class for turns. Yeah. Okay, so the turns class is gonna be, this thing is gonna be replaced with the turns class, and then we'll have a let's have turns equals wait, let me make sure that we don't have any class calls that. Yeah. So turns turns.update is equal to that. And instead of calling HUD update turns, we're going to call turns.update. And turns is going to do its own thing. So turns.update. It's going to call, for now, it's going to call HUD update turns. And HUD is going to do so in the HUD we have this method right here. We're gonna replace that with we're gonna move this guy over here. So it's like that. We're gonna call this and render turns. We're gonna call HUD dot render turns. So like that, and remove all the render. Just last stream I was renaming HUD render turns to render turns. So now we're just changing it back. That's crazy. Render turns to HUD render turns. I'm pretty inconsistent with my name, naming convention. Sometimes I use camel case and sometimes I use underscore. So HUD render turns, and I think that should work the same. Okay, so this should still work the same. Yep. Okay. So now we're gonna do turns update is gonna Yeah, we should actually get the data.player, because we need to check if it was the player that just moved, it was you that just moved. Turn to that update. I'm going to take player here, and if it was you that just moved, we're going to set a timeout. If it wasn't you that moved, we're going to check if there's an existing timeout, and we'll cancel that. Yeah, I think that'll render turns. So turns should have a collection of timeouts. So this is going to be keyed by the player ID. Player underscore ID. And it would just be a function. So okay. Actually, let's see what happens when the move was not validated. So change the update. So if the move wasn't validated, it returns. Okay. Right. So we don't actually get to this point. So if a player, oh, you know what? We should initialize this turns so we know who the player is. Well, we're getting the player right here. So we can just do if player dot ID underscore ID is equal to re.player underscore ID, because this player is going to be this player is going to be the one, is going to be you, and this player is the one that just made the move. So if it's equal, then that is we're going to do something different. So if you made a move, we're going to set a timeout for, we're going to do one thing. Okay, let's just let's message info just made a move, otherwise message info someone else just moved. You just made a move, yeah. Okay, so let's see this guy. Someone else just moved. Okay. Confirmed. Let's Oh, we didn't refresh this guy. You just made a move. You just made a move. It's weird that this guy doesn't... Someone else just made a move. Oh, it's because he's not... yeah, this guy isn't loading the other player, so there was a... So it crashed because it wasn't seeing the so right now this player over here, you just made a move that works, and I'm gonna do that again. You just made a move that works, and this guy is gonna make a move, and it's gonna show someone else just made a move, but this guy over here, if this guy moves, it's not gonna show up here. Yeah, because still is no, because we're not loading the other player. Now if we move here, it's gonna show up. Right, someone just made a move. Yep. Okay, so it's just gotta be careful that we have every piece is loaded in the game. Okay. So that works. Now we gotta set a timeout for this player. So we're gonna remember the enemy, and we gotta remember. So I think this is how you set a timeout. So if you just made a move, we're going to set a timeout to grab back the token, and if somebody else made a move, we'll just cancel the timeout. Yeah, okay. There's going to be some race condition going on here. So what happens if... What happens if you made a move and then you set a timeout, and then just right at the 30-second point they made a move before gotta think about this. So player 1 is going to make a move against player 2, and the token passes back to him. Right now, then we set a timeout. Okay, it's going to count down from 30, 29, etc. to 0. And then at 0, this client, this player, sends a request to the server that says, I want my token back. And player 2 still hasn't made his move. But while the server is sending back token, so the server has to update the token from player 2 and player 1. Well, I guess if it's a database update, it's going to be, it just depends on who is doing it first. Yeah, you know what? We'll figure that out when it happens. the race condition. Okay, so we're gonna set a timeout for. Okay. timeout. 30 seconds, and then we'll just do message and point, setting return token request bar return token request, and we'll need to store this return token request in these timeouts. Except that if somebody else has just moved. Yeah, okay, so if player 2 moved, then we get that request, we come down here. Someone else just moved, and we need to cancel this token. We need to cancel this request. Yeah, okay. Let's just call this TL. And then store the timeouts by the player ID. This right key by enemy ID. So player.id underscore ID is equal to TL. And then if and then down here we're gonna cancel it. Okay, so how do you cancel timeout? Yes, timeout cancel. Clear timeout. Clear timeout by bar. Yeah. Okay, so that's it then. So we're gonna get the timeouts. Player ID underscore ID and clear timeout. I think that's it. Message control. Wait. Whoop. What the? Clearing player timeout. Enemy timeout. Okay, so let's test that this works. Okay, who's moving? If we're moving, that was no. What's happening? So let's say this guy's moving. Move confirm, clearing enemy timeout. Hold on here. Move confirmed. But it's not setting a timeout. Oh, it's the timeout fires 30 seconds later. So let's wait and see if oh, there we go. Yeah, it just happened. So this guy should be firing soon too. Come on. There we go. Okay. So let's test this guy firing and then another guy canceling the timeout. So this is user 3. This guy should be setting a timeout for Actually, you know what? We should do an extra thing here. Message info. Setting timeout, and then okay, so let's refresh everything. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is against user 3, so down here we're gonna do we're gonna make a move, so it's gonna say setting timeout, and then 30 seconds later it's gonna say setting a request. What time is it? Maybe I should have set it to, there we go, okay. So maybe I should have set it to 5 seconds. So yeah, that's a good idea. 5, we'll change to 30. Okay, so now we're going to test clearing the timeout. So this guy's going to move against user 2, and then before the and then before the timeout fires, we're going to cancel it by making user 2 move. Okay, so now we're ready. So let's move. Then yep. Okay. We're gonna move, and then right after we're gonna move player 2. Okay. Clearing timeout. Yeah. Sending token. What? That didn't go as planned. Okay, let's do this again. So user 1 setting timeout. Something just fired a clearing timeout over here that is not supposed to happen. So that worked. Setting timeout, clearing timeout. Yeah, why was it firing the clearing timeout here? So, oh, it's because yeah, it didn't. Oh, something I didn't think of. The token is by pair, but everybody is receiving that request. So everybody is firing that clearing timeout. Well, that's not what we want. So what's going on is that the tokens are shared by pairs of players. So this player has a shared token with each of these guys. But we're not taking that into account. So every time this guy moves, it's gonna send a socket notification to everybody on this side. So when this guy moves, it sends a notification to this guy and this guy with that move, and so on these clients, on this client and this client, this is player 2, player 3, they're gonna come down to this thing here, and they're gonna clear the timeout for player 1, and that's not what we want. We want it to clear only the token for by pair between them. So gotta fix that. So timeouts player 1. So this is so this is you, and this is the player that just moved. How do we know who they moved against? We need a way to be able to say whose token this player just spent, and if it's the token that was spent against us, against this player, that's you, then we'll clear the timeout. Otherwise, we won't. So let's go back to the so when you move, we're sending the whole player object to everybody. This player object, and it includes the turn tokens. This guy here. We need to know. Yeah. Okay. So the turn index, we can get the last spent turn using the turn index. Right. Okay, let's try that. So here, let's grab the let's print out the turn index equals the player and this dot turn index, and eventually we'll want this guy -1 to get the last turn, but for now we'll just print out the current one. Oop. So this guy's gonna move, and these guys are gonna show us the turn index. Clean timeout. What? Oh, that's weird. Oh, sorry, that's not there. Let's get that info. That's the one we want. Okay, so this guy's gonna move, and what? I went too fast. Sounds no. Oh, kidding me. There we go. Turn index 0. turn index 1, good. This is going to be turn index 0 for everybody here, for this player and this player. So when I move this, it's going to show up turn index 0, turn index 0. Yep, 0 and 0, then 1 and 1. Okay. So we can get the last turn index by this minus 1 plus player dot turn tokens dot length mod player dot turn dot length. So this is the index of the last turn. So now we're gonna get the ID of the turn token that this guy just moved against. Right. So last player enemy, and the names are getting crazy. Player turn tokens, last turn index, and this is the. So we're gonna check if this is us. We're gonna check if that's us, and then if it is, we'll clear it, and if it's not, we'll actually, you know what? Well, let's print it out. What is this? Last player enemy token. Yep. Last player enemy token name. Player name. Okay. So it's gonna show us the name of the player that the enemy just moved against. Yeah. Okay. Essentially, it's gonna show us. Essentially, it's gonna show us who this guy is. So, for example, this is player 3, and we're gonna make a move against user 1. So it's gonna show up on this side and this side that it's gonna show up user 1. So let's try that. User 1, yep. Now it's gonna show user 2 and user 2, and this guy is gonna show up user 3 and user 3 over here, and user 3 over here. User 3 and user 3. Okay, so yeah, that worked. Now it's going to show user 3 again, here, and user 3. Okay. Oh, it's Kevin. Yo. What's up, man? So clear your timeout, and okay, so if last player enemy token dot underscore player, I think, because we just named it weird. So player is an ID, so we're just gonna check that ID against our ID. Read dot player dot underscore ID, and if it is, then we'll clear the timeout. And if it's not, we won't. So clearing timeout. Clearing timeout for Clearing timeout. Yeah, okay. Against this guy. Was that it? No. No, this guy's us. Clearing timeout. We want to clear timeout against not that guy. Against this guy. Player dot name. Right? Player dot name. Yeah. So now we're gonna actually send the request to get back the token. So API, I do. Where should we do this? How long have we been going? Almost an hour. So players stock rider. I think we should go into game. Everything's gonna go into game. Oh, we actually have a turn? Yeah, we have a turn class too. This is where we... Oh, except that it's only a class. We're not... Doesn't have any router. Yeah, okay. So I think game is the one that uses the turn here. Turn validate, turn update. Okay. So I think we gotta use API game. So it's gonna say just deciding where to put the new route, the one that's gonna take the return token request. Okay, it's gonna go in here. Game.move. There we go. Return token. So we're gonna take the player ID and the enemy ID, and we're gonna say new turn, pass turn. So it's gonna so what this is gonna do is it'll pass the turn from player to enemy. Return. That's a really clever return. So it's gonna grab the turn from enemy to player, because that's how we're gonna use it, right? We're gonna use it I don't know, it's too clever. So right here, we're gonna get the turn from, so like right here, if you make a move, it's gonna start setting a timeout, and by the end of the timeout, it's gonna send the request to the server that says, I want my turn back. And so it's actually getting a turn from the enemy back to the player. Setting turn timeout. Setting turn timeout against we can actually do both of these things up here, and then we can setting turn timeout against player, not player.name. This is very messy. Player is the player that just moved. So we want to find the player enemy. This should be shouldn't this be the same as this guy? Right, because this player just moved. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so the enemy of this player is me. That's why we're checking in here. So this is the, yeah, potential enemy. Or it could also be you, which is why we have it here. So this last player enemy token, so if we're in this situation, who is the enemy? Clear that. Because player is not this is always going to be yeah, we did it wrong. This player I'm getting confused about all these players. Yeah, this guy here is us. Yeah, that's not what we want. Okay. Yeah, this player is in this case it's us. So in this case we need to find out who we just moved against and then store their ID. Similar to what we do here. Except that, let's shorten the names a little bit. It's getting confusing. Last player, enemy, token to last. Last turn indexed. So we need to do similar thing here. Except that since this is us now, this last player enemy is the one that we want to, yeah, okay. So we will do last player enemy dot right, setting clear time, setting time, turn time out. Yeah, this is we're gonna make sure to check this last player enemy dot name. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Whoop. Something's wrong. Undefined. Oh. Player. Turn tokens. It's there. Oh, it's not name. It's player underscore name. Jesus. Right? No. Yeah, it is player underscore name. Because it came from the turn tokens. So you just moved against user 2, and you can move here. Undefined. Undefined. That's weird. Oh. It's just name here, and it's like this. There has to be a better way to do this. This is very confusing. Player.turn index -1. Okay. U is equal to read.player. Just gonna rename some stuff and make it more obvious. Var player is gonna be mover oh boy. Yes, yes, yes. And last term, so we're going to check the combination of this down here. Mover enemy. Right, and then here we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so if the mover was you, then we get the mover's enemy, and then we set a timeout with store that enemy's ID. So basically this stores your whoever you just moved against into the list of timeouts, and so that's good. Now if the mover wasn't you, then that means it's someone else. So we check we get the last move that the mover moved against, and if that last move was against you, then we clear the timeout. Okay, so this is a lot. It makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Okay. So everything should. Let's try and double check. So we're gonna move this guy, and it's gonna say setting a timeout for user 3 down here. Setting timeout against user 3, and you know what? I think we should. Make it last a little longer. So now I was going to say, I think has it already sent the return to setting timeout against user 1. So still waiting for our return token request. Oh, sending return token request. It just sent it. It's also log it. Okay. Let's move this guy. Refresh everyone. Oh, no more turns. It's this guy's turn. Okay, so this guy's gonna move against user 3. So he's gonna say setting timeout. Then 15 seconds later, it's gonna print out that it's about to send the request. There we go. Sending return token request. You know what? I think we should print out everything. Setting timeout. Default. So let's see if the canceling works. We're gonna move. We're gonna move, make player 2 move against player 1, and then player 1's gonna move before the 15-second timeout, and should not print anything. Okay, let's see. Setting timeout. Okay, user 1, good. Now user 1's gonna move, and clear and turn timeout against user 2, and user 1, sorry. And then it shouldn't do it. Sending what? It's still sending a request. Why is it still sending a request? Mover underscore ID. A lot of printing logs. Console sending return token request. Okay. Let's try this again. Cells now. There we go. Okay, so this guy's gonna go against player 3. Setting turn timeout against user 3. Okay. Sending return token request against. Yep, so that's user 3. Right? User 3. D3F6. What? D40A. Oh, it's using this ID. That's not what we want. We want it to use this ID. So mover.enemy. Mover.enemy is oh my god. Jesus. This is what we want. And this is mover is an actual object. So it is an actual player object, whereas this is only a partial thing that we stored inside the player object. See this? Jesus. We could rename this to underscore ID. but yeah, let's not do that. So this is the okay, so see this guy here, setting turn timeout against user 3. After 15 seconds, user 3 doesn't make a move, then it's going to say setting timeout, sending return token request. D409. D409 is user 3, right? Player user 3. What the f it's still using this. No, that's not what we want. Sending return token request against D455. Why the hell is it using that? We just changed it. Sending return request. Oh, I'm an idiot. Still using that. Sorry. That is yeah, we can we just use the name for the mover.name. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so move against player 1, then turn timeout against user 1. Okay. Then 15 seconds later, player 1 doesn't move, then it's going to say send request against 0D3, D2. Zero 3D2. Yeah, okay. So it works, except that player name. Oh my god. Name. Okay. So this guy's gonna say setting turn time against user 2. Then user 2 doesn't move, and he's gonna sending return token request against user 2. Okay, now we're only printing that out, so player 2 should still be able to move, and player 2 is going to move, and let's say he moves, and then let's actually run the same test as this guy. That what? Oh, yeah, he has no more turns because his active token is in the wrong place. He's got now he can move. There we go. And now let's move against player 1 again. Setting turn time out against user 3. User 3 doesn't move in 15 seconds. Okay, good. So now let's move against user 1, and then within 15 seconds user 1, oh shoot, within 15 seconds user 1 makes a move, and he's not going to print. Yeah, clearing turn time against user 3. Instead of sending a return token request, saying turn time out against user 3, and then user 3 makes a move, and then he just says clearing turn time out against user 3, instead of calling this. Okay, so it works. It's ugly, but it works. Let's change this to 30,000. Turn timeout. Or turn just 30 seconds. Let's check if okay. Against mover.name. Player name. Make it short. Requesting token turn from. Clearing turn timeout. Setting turn timeout. Requesting turn from. Okay. Oh. Make it message info. And then let's do the actual request, which is going to be in here. So what we'll do here is we specify the player and the enemy, and we're going to get the turn from. We're going to unset the enemy's turn and then return it back to the player. So for now, let's just do rest send equal true, and here we do API.js game return. Game return. This is too clever of a name. Game.js. Let's not do return. Player 1 ID, player 2 ID. Yeah. Let's do player 1 ID and player 2 ID and say pass. Pass turn. Pass turn. Player 1. Player 1 ID and player 2 ID. And then player 1 ID, player 2 ID, pass turn. Do we want anything back? I don't think we want anything back. Set timeout request turn token. So what do we want to do once we, so let's make a move here, and then the other player doesn't move, and then we get the new turn. So right here we're sending turn token request against user 2, so we get back our turn token, our player object, and then we're gonna refresh this guy. Okay. So here's, okay, that sounds good, but then we're gonna run into the problem of all the other so we can refresh the UI, and this guy will just turn back into a brighter green to signify that he now has a turn. Player 1 has a turn against player 2. Okay, let's worry about the other stuff later. So we want to get back a re.player, and this is the actually, you know what, this should be player ID and enemy ID, because we want to be able to distinguish who is sending back turn naming return, let's just go with that. So yeah, so we want the turn from the enemy back to the player, and game is we gotta change back to enemy ID and player ID, and we say return. So this sends the passes turn from enemy back to player, and then we return the player some dummy name. Okay, so return. And in play, we'll use the API game return. Who is the player? Game API return. Okay. So the player is gonna be us, u underscore ID, and the other player is gonna be the enemy's ID, which is mover. Who's the enemy here? Mover is the enemy. Oh, okay, mover enemy. That's because in this case, mover is you. You is the mover. So mover enemy underscore player, I think, because player name, yeah. And then here, you will do a, we'll call the hood to render if error, return message error, I think. Message error. did not request. Enemy, and I think we should have. I don't message error. Otherwise, we'll just do HUD render returns and send it to you. So let's fake the let's fake this and return the somebody else's. Players find one, okay. Yeah, let's fake that because we just want to check that the UI changes. So let's do. So let's fake that and send the send k and send the enemy. What the? Our player ID equals Quest params player ID and enemy ID. Let's go to Quest params enemy ID. Enemy ID, and I think we need to. Do we need to validate this? Maybe not, right? I think this will work. So whoa. Oh, we're missing some stuff. Yeah, okay. So let's see here. If error, then we return. I think we can just, if there's an error, I think it's safe to just return the error code, because API that request. If there's an error, error is usually just a string, but yeah, yeah, if there's an info, okay. So if there's an error, we can just message error, because we'll let the server decide what error message to send back to display to the user. Okay, so let's test this. Oh, yeah, we just refreshed the server, so we're gonna log in again. Okay, so let's move player 1 against player 3, and then let it time out, and then the UI should change from player 1's UI to player 3's UI. So let's see if that happens. Okay, so after 15 seconds, this thing should change from this to looking like this. If this works. Come on, where's my 15 seconds? There we go. Yep. Oh, wow, it worked. Okay, so it changed from the player 1's UI to player 3's UI. Okay, so we know that this whole thing works. Somebody's commenting on the Emacs. So render UI. Okay. So now all we gotta do is actually finish this method here. So instead of just returning the player, what we want to do is get the turn token from the enemy and give it back to the player. I think we can write a turn method for that. Turn. Oh, actually, we already have a method for that called pass token to enemy. Yeah, this is what it's called. So so this takes the player and the enemy ID. So it takes the this passes token from player to enemy. Right. Check if enemy already has player in their turn tokens. Enemy hasn't been ranged player yet. And enemy safe. Oh, this is only half of it. This only... Yeah, it only updates the... It only updates the enemy. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Check if enemy already has player in their turn tokens. So it finds the enemy, and then it checks if player, if it's not found, then it pushes, and it saves the enemy. Okay, so it only updates the enemy's turn token. So we need to do two things. We need to pass the token to the enemy, okay, and then we need to unset the token for the, this is getting confusing. We need to okay, so let's go back here. So we need to pass token from, yeah, it's already here. So we need to do that, and in order to do that, we need to turn the enemy's token off and the player's token against the enemy on. And this method only does half of it. It only, so in this scenario, you're passing from this guy to this guy. So in this scenario, the enemy is actually the player. Man, this is getting confusing. But the player's token is unaffected. why did we have this method? Pass token to enemy. So we use it in two places. We use it here. Oh, you know what? We can do this. Update turn tokens. No, hold on. So update turn tokens is used when the player makes a move against somebody. But it only slides the turn index to the next position, so it needs to know what the current position is. On the other hand, when we do this, it doesn't need that. So let's just do it the easy way. Let's just set it manually, and then pass token to enemy. So this already does half of that. So let's do the other half. Pass token to enemy. Found true. Right. Okay. So that's half of the. What I don't like is that this only does half of the thing, and in all the other methods, the other half is done some crazy way. Pass turn token to enemy. So like, for example, this method here. If you're passing a token to the enemy, shouldn't you be adding that to yourself? Okay. So let's make this method function. We need to be able to call this thing outside of this file, outside of this class. So we gotta change it to something else. So we'll do turn dot pass token to enemy and replace. Yeah. So replace pass token to enemy with turn pass, like that. And no, yes. So now we need to do a unset token. So unset set token false. I always have trouble with function names. Set token false. Set token false. And let's take, this should be okay. And then this should be player and the enemy ID and that's it, I think. Done. So pass token to enemy, so the enemy is gonna have their thing changed. Oh, man. So we need to, okay, there's a few things we have to do. So validate that you can actually, that the timeout actually happen. Second, we need to notify enemy that their turn has been taken away, and tell player well, rest person. Yeah, okay. So set token false, pass token to enemy. We could this guy doesn't take a done. Let's do a done here too. So if done error what do we want to return here? Pass token to enemy, so the enemy is gonna be new enemy, and we want to return just oh, you know what? Should be the done null, and we should do it here. Done error, and then it'll, once it saves, it will go down here, and we will return the enemy. Right? If somebody actually passes the done function. So if they don't, we just won't call it. So set token false, set player token let's make it shorter. Unset player token. Okay, so we will find the player and actually let's do an update. Okay. We'll do that, and set. We'll set. Oh, we have to find the player first. Okay, can't do this. Do player.find one. Oh, we're just going to use the same thing here. So player find one, player underscore ID. And player. So enemy replaced with player. Check if already has. No, let's forget this. Oh, that's not the one. Turn unset player token and player. So we're gonna find the yeah, I usually use the to do to just move around the file. Makes it easier. I used to do this. I used to do that because it's like mark, but it doesn't. So I just do to do and I move around the file. It usually doesn't mean like it's a task I have to do. For those, I just put them somewhere else. So and player equals player, and then we'll do we'll loop through the players for our I equals 0 and less than and player dot turn tokens I plus plus, and if 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 the enemy, if m player turn tokens I dot player is equal to enemy ID, then we'll set their, we'll say m player dot turn tokens I dot live equals false, and then we'll save the player, right? Yep. Okay, so yeah, I think that's, so unset player token, and I'm gonna find the player, and if the player doesn't exist, so if, then we'll loop through the player's turn tokens and match it with the enemy and set it to false, and then save and return the player. Okay, so do, and then here let's not worry about these two things yet. So now we'll just pass the turn dot pass. Well, now we'll just do this. So let's do an async. Let's do that. Oh, you know what? We can do these two things in parallel. How do you do parallel? I should memorize these, but I don't. I don't know. Parallel. Go back. Test array functions in parallel. Here results. Okay. So just like usual, but in parallel. So like that. Here, so this guy takes back. Oh, we actually want pass token to enemy. This guy requires this thing to be a full player object, does it? Player. So the reason it requires it is because we want both the name and the ID. Okay, that's reasonable. But if we make it just an ID, then we can use it. How about that? And then we'll do this. Whoops. Do that. We're just gonna get the. Instead of passing the whole player object, we'll just pass the ID, and then replace the player dot with end player dot. Nope. This is what we want. This. Yeah, okay. So let's find pass token to enemy player dot underscore ID player dot underscore ID. So here we can do player ID. Oh, actually no, we want the other way. So enemy ID and then player ID. This is going to return the enemy. We'll do down there. We don't actually need this guy, so we'll just call back the that. So we send if error, we'll send info, because that's what the client expects. Right? It'll send an info explaining what the error was. So we'll say error couldn't request return couldn't request token from enemy for some reason. Else we're gonna do rest send okay true, and we'll do player is equal to player. So our player is null to do validate. To do validate that. Oh no. To do validate IDs. So here we're gonna do the other side, which is unset. And now we're gonna store this here, and then we'll return it down here. Okay, so pass token to enemy. Not sure if we should return the enemy. We don't need to, except that we have to somehow notify the enemy that their turn has just been taken away because they took too long to play. So we'll do that later. Validating the timeout actually have. Yeah, good idea. So let's see. Okay, I think this should work. Pass token to enemy. So we're gonna grab the enemy turn token, pass it back to player ID, and then unset the enemy. Unset the enemy's player token. This is very confusing because the one who calls this is the player. The one who calls this method is the player. So it passes in the player's ID and the enemy's ID, and we want the that's why this is all backwards. Oh well. Okay. Let's make sure that this works. let's sign in. Okay, so how are we gonna test this? We're gonna make a move from player 1 to player 2, and then player 2 is gonna take a long time to move, so player 1 should send a request to return the token. So after 15 seconds, player 2 is gonna have their token taken, and after 15 seconds, player 1 is gonna have their token back. Okay, so let's set that up. So now player 2 is going to move to the token is going to go over here. Okay, so alright, so now we're ready to set up the test. So now player 1 is going to make a move against player 2, and then player 2 won't move, and after 15 seconds, player 1 could request. Oh, what the hell? There's bugs already. Player does not exist. Where is that from? Unset player token. Something's going on here. Turn. Oh, yeah, this should be ID. Player dot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just made a mistake here. This is player ID instead of the whole player object, because that's how we call it. Okay. Install, and now I'm gonna sign everyone back in again. Okay, so user 1. Oh, that caused a bug, because now people are having their turns, having extra turns, because the first half of the thing that we just did gave everybody turns. Okay, so I think it should fix itself. So we do that. Right. Okay, so now we just moved player 1 against player 2. Player 2 is not going to move for 15 seconds, and then 15 seconds later it should send a request to request back the turn, and then this is going to become gray and this is going to become green. Let's see. Was it 15 seconds? I think it's 30 seconds. There we go. What? Oh, it's not updating here because the player 2 doesn't know about it yet. But if we refresh, this should be gray. What? What's going on here? Okay, user 2. True. So it's not updating. It didn't update this guy. it didn't update user 2, but it updated this guy over here. So user 1, user 2 has a token from user 2, that's true. But user 2 shouldn't have a token from user 1. So that means that that means that this method didn't work. So this is player 1, player 2, unset player token, unset player token. Oh, wait a second, what? So we want to unset the enemy's token, so it returns the enemy. Hold on here. Unset player and player. Oh, it's actually returning the. But why is this? Yeah, this is the wrong. This is the wrong UI. This is the player 2's UI. Yeah. Okay, so this guy should not be unset player token. This is actually the enemy. This enemy. So we don't have the. We can probably make this guy return both the enemy and the player. So it passed the token correctly, but this one didn't work. For now, let's just do player to do get player. So why doesn't this work? Unset player token, it's gonna get the enemy's token. This guy. Then it's gonna loop through. If life is, if it's equal, then it will set life to false. Let's print out end player. Turn tokens, a player name, and checking player unset. Oops. So in here, let's do another one. This is enemy ID. Oh, you know what? Enemy ID here too. Okay, so this should be unset player token. Okay, so do this and then wait 15 seconds or 30. I think it was 30. Where are you? Oh, there we go. So return. What? What's going on here? I didn't print out anything. What the hell? Oh my god. Length. Jesus. That's why I didn't do anything here. That's a horrible bug. Okay. I think yeah, I think everything was right except for that little length thing. Log in. Okay. So, player 2 is going to move against player 1, and then player 1 doesn't make a move. And then 30 seconds later, player 2 is going to send a request to player 1, to the server to return the token back to player 2, and then this guy should become gray and this should become green. Although we won't see that because we have to refresh. So this becomes green and this becomes gray. There we go. Okay, so now what we got to do is change the. Oh yeah, let's check. Yeah, unset user 2, unset user 2, unset user 3. What? Why is this oh yeah, it's looping through two things. So unset turn tokens, but user 2, the enemy's ID is huh? Oh, that's right. User 2 is the one. Okay, good. Yeah. Sorry, I got confused for a second because of the printout. So this is good. This is good. So what we have to do left is make sure that this player is the player. So we don't want this guy. We want to pass unset player token. We need to get the player again. So we need to do this. Player ID, validate IDs. Yep. Okay. So so at least in this case, it will refresh the players. This guy, whoever sent that return token request, it'll it'll refresh this guy's UI. And this guy's UI won't refresh because we need to notify him. Okay, so let's check that. Okay, so now player 2 is going to move against player 3, and then after 30 seconds, player 3 is not going to move, so this is going to turn back to green. I hope. Okay, so it's sending the request, but it's not. What the hell? Okay, so okay, true. What in the world? It's still false. Oh, because this is parallel. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Let's make it waterfall, because this thing ran first, so it's not updated yet. If we want to make sure we can check player fine, so player 2, it's true. Yeah, see, this is both. Yeah, this, if we refresh right now, this will be green. The reason it didn't update was because this call went first, so it got the earlier version of the player before these guys ran. So so we can just change this to waterfall, and then I'll. Let's do this again. Refresh. Okay, so here we're gonna move against player 1. Yeah, so it's notifying the turn is turning up here, and now after 30 seconds, player 1's not gonna move, so player 2 is gonna get back his turn, and this won't be updated because we haven't done that yet. There we go. So it turned back to green, and if we refresh this, this will be a grayish green. There we go. Okay, cool. So what we need to do next, I think this is a very long stream. How long have we got? 2.5 hours. Wow. Gamer, hey, you're still here. Thanks, man. You've been you're my regular. So what we need to do next is notify the enemy that we just took away that turn. So if this guy moves and this guy doesn't move in 30 seconds, we're gonna get back the turn, and we're gonna grab this turn token and pass it back to this guy here, and then we gotta notify this guy that his turn has been taken away. So I think we're gonna need a new a new a new socket event for that. So we have the first socket event, which is for moves. So this is used for when people make a move and we notify the other players that that somebody has just moved, right? So if this guy moves, oops, sorry, he doesn't have a turn. So if this guy moves, everybody sees that move. So now we need to create another event for turns, and we might be able to use those events for just exclusively turns, for the turn events. I'm getting tired. Instead of using the API, so like this. So right now the return request is going through game, going through this method right here that we just wrote. It's going through this guy here, but what we could do is just use the socket. So something like this. We can make another event called, instead of move, we're gonna make it called turn, and then we'll use that as a channel to publish turns and notify turns. Yeah, that might actually be a better idea instead of using doing it this way. So okay, so I think what we're going to do next time is we'll rewrite this method. So instead of using this route, we will create something like this, so that people can push their turn events, and then we can publish it to other players. Because doing it this way, we don't doing it like this, using this request, using this route here, it doesn't let us push to other players. It only let us respond to whoever made the request, right? So we can only respond to this guy when he makes a request. We can't actually push to these other people. So I think I think we'll do that next time. Okay, so let me just commit this. What do we just do? I forgot. We implemented return turn timeout. That's what we did. Also, somebody was asking about the GitHub repo for this project. I'll show it to you right now. So let me push this. So if you're interested, you can grab the code and so this is my GitHub page. You can. Whoa. Oh yeah. So this is the page, the repository for this project. That's my name, and then that's the old name for this game. I originally made a version of the game where you can play tic-tac-toe in 3 dimension, but it didn't play very well because it's hard for players to visualize in 3 dimension. Like, do you imagine a 3D tic-tac-toe game? Like 2-dimensional tic-tac-toe is easy because you try and get 5 in a row. It's actually called 5 in a row. So you try and get 5 in a row diagonally, vertically, horizontally. So you play it in 2 dimension on paper, for example. It's actually very easy. But if you move it to 3 dimension, it's a lot tougher for people to visualize. So that's when I decided to make the this. So if you're interested, you can grab that the code from here and just see if you can get it running. Next, sometime in the future, I'll show how to set it up and everything if people are interested. So just let me know if you wanna see how to set up the game. Okay, so I think I'll stop here. And next time we'll do the socket, the web socket for turns. So instead of doing this, okay.